The vibe I get is sexy Hogwarts with dragons.
Hello everyone, Violet here, and
I'm Lars.
And who are you?
Your husband.
And together we're going to be reading
Fourth Wing
by Rebecca Yarros. And I thought it'd be really fun. So I have not read this book. We're going to be reading it together for the first time. I just thought it'd be a fun thing that we do over our holiday break, essentially. So, yeah, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think so. It's totally, I don't really read books like this, so.
I don't think you're the target audience, but I don't really know because I haven't read it. So it's just what I gather. So I thought it'd be kind of funny to see your reactions. Do you anticipate liking it?
It's probably going to take me a while to get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like fantasy, so, but I'm not sure about romantasy so much.
Yeah. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think this author is like a romance author. Not like, doesn't come from like, I think she comes from romance, doesn't come from fantasy so much. So the book is both, but yeah, so we'll see. Hi, Miss Catherine. All right, so we're on chapter 8. We were kind of like simultaneously reading this. I have 3 little tabs in here. 2 are for things that I thought were kind of poorly written, and then 1 is for something that happened in chapter 7 that I think is kind of exciting. So I'm gonna interview Lars and see what he thinks so far. So tell me more about what you think about the book so far.
It's definitely gets my heart going. It's pretty exciting.
You had trouble sleeping last night, right?
Yeah, it was so exciting. It was so exciting. It gets me full of adrenaline with all the fighting scenes and the sneaking around.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. I think that it's kind of ridiculous, though, like the main character, all these little asides to herself. She has, like, I can make out every speck of gold in his onyx eyes, every bump and ridge of his scar. You are not attracted to toxic men, I remind myself, and yet here I am, getting all attracted.
I think I missed that, or is it past where I was
You're
reading?
not there yet.
Oh man, okay.
I'm sorry for the spoiler, but it's just stuff like that, these little asides she has to herself, like scribe training for the win, that like it doesn't really line up with like this high fantasy world. Like
Sure.
I feel like I'm like, she's a character in Gilmore Girls, like narrating her story. Time just kind of like soars by. There will be like a chunk where she's like, and this week I did this, and then next week I did this, and another week I did this, and it's like, I feel like it's like the author kind of like pressing fast forward.
Yeah.
And then there are all of these moments when she the author jams in like background info into sort of a...
Oh gosh, yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning and throughout the book too. It's just sort of like cramming in context and like backstory.
Yeah.
I feel like this book maybe needed a little bit more of a slow introduction. Like I think personally, I would have liked even like an hour's worth of reading of slower setup to get to know the main character better instead of just saying like, all right, here she is. Oh, and by the way, this is her sister. This is her mean mom. This is this school. This is what happened over the past 400 years in this war in this country, all jammed into one chapter.
Like she's gonna recite the geography and the history as she's like balancing across the whatever it was.
Yeah,
it's
like a little bit forced. But that being said, it is also immediately exciting, and who knows, I might have not actually read this book if it didn't get my heart pounding within the first couple of chapters.
That's true, but you also wouldn't have read it if I weren't making you read it for the video.
That's very true.
And aren't you glad you are?
Yeah.
Where are we, Arthur? Did you just see a plane take off?
Yeah.
Are we gonna go on an airplane?
Yeah, it will.
Here's what I'm gonna be doing on the airplane.
What's Dada? Point, Dada.
We have to wait for just a little bit longer for our airplane to get here.
The light in here looks good on you.
Thank you.
So what did you do last night instead of sleep?
I stayed up reading Fourth
Our
Wing.
airplane stopped.
I know. It's going to be here soon.
Do you know how much further you got than me? Because I'm on chapter 28.
I'm about to start chapter 31.
Okay.
But I think chapter 28 is really long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any updates on how you feel?
A little bit dirty.
Oh, really? Well, I guess I haven't read everything you've read. Look at you.
Let's just say
Are you blushing?
It's been building up to something, and it was kind of graphic.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
I don't want to give you any spoilers.
How'd you feel reading that?
Like I was doing something naughty.
No.
No, it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you really, read books like that before?
No, I never have. I mean, like, I have encountered, like, spicy scenes in books before, but this was, like, something else.
I guess I get something to look forward to on the plane.
It's gonna be awkward.
Well, I hope that no one can, look over my shoulder,
yeah, I would
basically.
hope so.
Okay, so we finished Fourth Wing, and I see why. I think I saw something like a thumbnail or something that was like, it's so much worse and so much better than you thought, like both things. Mm-hmm. And I so feel that, because it was so much fun to read. Like, it was such a blast. But the writing, some of the writing was just terrible. But the plot was so gripping, and the concept was gripping, and it felt like she kind of lifted some characters that were very successful in other series and put them, different version of them in this one. So it wasn't like it had the best new character development or new world. Well, the dragon stuff was pretty fun.
Yeah,
but,
it's fun.
It's
not super original either.
Right. But it felt like she found things that worked and put them together and made them work here too, to where you want to keep reading it. But yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, so I went into reading this book kind of feeling like, oh my god, I can't believe that Violet's making me do this. This is the last thing I want to read. I would never choose to read a book like this for myself, but it sounded like it could be fun, so I agreed. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was instantly gripped by the action. And I think, one of my complaints about the book was that I felt like there wasn't enough character development. With the main character, I felt like it's kind of surface level. It's like, oh, she doesn't get along with her mom. She wants to be a scribe, but now she's being forced to be a dragon rider.
You're in her head, and her head is kind of surface level too.
Yeah, I guess that. So there's that, but it's very gripping with the action almost immediately. So I was kind of hooked, oh my god, what's going to happen next? My heart was literally pumping. So
you were having trouble going to sleep.
Yeah, I'd be reading it late at night, accidentally read way too far because I'd be in a huge gripping battle scene, and then I'd have to know what happens next. That being said, it seems like the character is just even though this is hard, I can do it. I know I can do it. I'm going to believe in myself, and it's going to be fine. So never once did I doubt that anything bad would happen to the main character. Of course she suffers some loss, she hits challenges, but no matter what, she always succeeds.
And the romance was so obvious. I forgot if we said that in another clip, but it's from the very beginning you knew, okay, we're looking at these two guys and you know which one it's going to be.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is a little bit, there's some twists in there, but and then how much can I give away about the plot in the...
I'm putting spoilers in the title,
so
spoilers.
There's just something, and I know that the main, the guy is 23 and she's supposed to be 20, but the main conflict between them is that, she feels like she can't trust him, and she's I'm so transparent about my feelings for you, but you're not transparent with yours, and it just seems like a very, very immature...
It doesn't carry the weight either. It doesn't feel like he's actually done. Okay, from the beginning when she thought he was gonna want to kill her, sure, but after that point, it didn't feel like he had really given her that much reason to not trust him. Even when she found out he was lying about stuff, it's no, he he was keeping stuff secret. You knew he had secrets. Obviously, they were meeting in secret. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Obviously, he told you that, like, oh, we went to this place, but I can't tell you more about that. And yet, just simply by doing that, it got him in trouble. So, like, it's understandable that he didn't tell her everything. So,
But
yeah, I agree with that.
it's also what is kind of charming about the book. I mean, I think it threw me off reading like this almost high fantasy book, but then the main character, and it's written in the first person who's narrating it, is like almost speaking like with like Gen Z millennial slang.
We're gonna insert a compilation of stuff Lars has highlighted.
I guess there are no Meritus Service Awards for emotional availability. I exchanged my breezy pants for leather ones that hug every curve. I happen to know a rider whose powers can make big things very small. A devious smile plays across her lips, and smaller things much, much bigger. Every head in the room turns my direction. If anyone had an inkling of doubt about who I am, it's long gone now. Awesome. I glance at the map to be sure I am not making a fool of myself. That is Chakir right there, is it? Scribe's training for the win. Thank God Dane's shirt is on, because I don't need another distraction when it's time for my turn. This isn't my first mending. When you're as brittle as I was when I was born, the pain of mending is only second to the pain of the original injury. Basically, another Tuesday. I focused on the obstacle course running up the side of an effing cliff. It looks more like a death trap than an adrenaline rush. Sure, we can go with that. Positive thinking for the win. The posts knock a chunk of granite loose, and the rock tumbles down the course, smacking every obstacle in its path until it crashes 20 feet in front of us. If there was ever another metaphor for my life, well, that's it. Her uniform still has her signature spikes on the shoulders, but this time they're gold and look sharp as hell, like she wanted to throw in a little extra badass today. I make the mistake of glancing over her shoulder toward the center of the gym. Holy effing hot. Zayden and Garrick have stripped off their shirts and are sparring like their lives depend on it. Is it absolutely toxic that I'm attracted to this look on him? Probably. This is what happens when you remove our leadership. We're a hot freaking mess. So that at first was kind of off-putting to me. Then I started finding it funny, and then it became part of the book's charm. Like these sort of disparate elements actually made the book like kind of funny to read. So I think that like I've come to terms with reading the book because it was really funny, it was engaging, like it got my heart pumping. It also wasn't so heavy that like it felt like a chore to read. It went by very, very fast for me.
Tell them about your cousin.
Oh my god, so my 14-year-old cousin, we overheard her talking about like dragons and like the parapet
At like family Christmas.
at family Christmas last night, and we were horrified because I think this book has one of the most graphic. Can you say sex on YouTube?
I don't know what you can
Okay,
say or
well,
not
like
say.
it. There's a scene with adult relations.
I'm sure
and
you
it's,
just also like really see her as a kid. 'Cause
Oh,
she's
yeah,
gonna-
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, she's a teenager.
Yeah,
so like,
but
okay, like.
but even still, like I felt kind of icky reading the some of the scenes that involve adult physical relations. I don't know if that's par for the course with like romance novels, but it was like pretty intense. So
Well, but also what I found funny about it was like she's talking about this book she's reading, and then like in front of the whole family, I was like, oh, I know what you're talking about. I read that, and actually Lars read it with me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that was embarrassing for you or not. Like
no, it
we're
was
reading
fine.
the
Like
same
I
books
don't.
as
It's
you know.
it's fun. Like I don't care. Like if
Anyway.
anyone knows that I'm reading this book, like probably no one cares.
She'd started the second one, and based off of what she said, I'm curious, do you want to read the second one, the sequel?
No, because she said that like she said it's very, very slow, and I was thinking that might mean more in-depth character development, which I'd be
But it
interested
didn't seem
in.
to be the
But it didn't
case.
seem to be the case.
Yeah, let's
it
not
seems,
give away any spoilers
Okay,
for
yeah,
that,
it seems like it might be tedious, and I think if Fourth Wing had been tedious,
Oh yeah.
I would have never finished it.
That's a very good point. Like that was what was getting us through like so quickly was the gripping nature of it. So yeah, I see what you're saying. If it lacks that, then I felt good about it. Like this book in a way could just stand on its own for me. I don't necessarily have to keep reading the series. Maybe I will. But even the surprise at the end, like that was just so fun. And I don't really need to see what happens after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a fun twist.
Let us know what you think in the comments about if you've read it or if you don't want to read it or whatever you think. I would love to hear. And yeah, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.